going on, everybody? This is Chris Classic dropping a car blog. Hope you guys and gals are having a wonderful day. If nobody tells you that God loves you, Christ loves you, and I love you as well. I'm hoping that you guys and gals have a wonderful day. Excuse me about the muffling sound with the air conditioning, but I gotta have my owl. Make sure you subscribe to the Take It Home podcast where I talk about professional wrestling topics, and I put up my matches as classic out for a professional wrestler of 14 years. Make sure you also subscribe to C3 Ultimate Wrestling. That is me and my. We're not seeing eye to eye with a lot of stuff, but we still have a show coming up May 23rd, our biggest show called 20, celebrating our 20th show in C3's history. Tickets are on sale now on Eventbrite. They're $5 off, but there'll be $5 more at the door. Bars, it's going to be in Dyer, Indiana, Harold's Private Venue. Get your tickets now. Sponsored by Critically Drinking, Shooting from the Script, and also Premier Laundromat. Shout out to y'all. The Wyatt 6. God is good. Just say that too. Just want to reiterate if I didn't say that to you earlier today. God is good. The Wyatt 6, very popular group among the internet and the IWC because they were a vision of Bray Wyatt. And with Bray Wyatt's untimely passing, a lot of people had hopes when they were hearing about the Wyatt 6 and stuff like that. I think like even when he was here, a lot of people wanted certain people to be a part of the group and stuff, you know, with the Wyatt family, you know, Rowan and Harper, and then, you know, Harper leaving, and then his untimely passing, and then Rowan trying to do certain things, and, you know, Alexa with Bray as the Fiend and all of this other stuff. It was like, seemed like the guy had a lot of vision and stuff like that, but just the direction of it was just bad. But going into like the Wyatt 6, I do remember I was on a cruise when they debuted, and people went crazy. The graphics of the bodies and people bludgeoned, and they unalived Chad Gable, who showed up the following week. But it was just something that everybody went crazy for. They was holy as they were going crazy for this stuff. And to me, when I even saw it, I was like, okay, this is awesome, but they're not going to do this right. And when I say that, I can't sit here and say everything of the lure of Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt 6 and stuff like that, but it's WWE. It's a lot of factors to why the Wyatt 6 didn't work. And I'm going to tell you one of the main reasons, and also follow up with other reasons as well. One of the reasons why the Wyatt 6 didn't work was because Bray Wyatt kind of didn't work for WWE. That's controversial to say and everything. Fans love him. People got tattoos. They celebrate him. They buy his merch and everything. They try to look out and protect JoJo. They send money to the family and all of that stuff. But if we want to be honest here, WWE didn't even know what to do with Bray Wyatt. Now, is that Bray Wyatt's fault? Is that WWE's fault? Possibly. It could be a lot of factors, but they was going random. I don't think they knew what to do with Bray. I don't think. When we look at like the Wyatt family, now first of all, you guys know how I feel about Bray wrestling wise, but honestly, when they was doing like the Swamp Thing and all of that, I think that was the best version of Bray, in my opinion. I thought that was the best version, past the Fiend, Firefly Funhouse, Moths and all that. Hey, that was the best version to me. I watch TVA from time to time, but I don't watch it like I used to. But WWE didn't do. I wouldn't say that Bray had like the best career in WWE. You know, he'd win a belt and then he'd lose it. Like, he'd lose it about as quicker than he got it. You know, he lost to Goldberg as the Fiend, and like, it was like not a good match. And, you know, Roman returned after he beat, what's his name? Braun Strowman, and it became the Roman show after that. It was like the dominant reign with the bloodline story and all kind of stuff. He lost to Randy. He lost to Randy Orton because Alexa turned on him, kinda. It was a lot. And it was like, outside of letting them go the first time and bringing them back, and then health issues came up, and then untimely passing. But outside of the passing and all of the health stuff, you know, I can't sit there and say this man had a great career as far as WWE is concerned. I've heard of the AFL. But, yeah, I mean, at one point, he was going to dress his sister Abigail and go against Demon Finn. But he got injured or something happened and he couldn't do it. But leading up to that, I was like, how the heck are they going to pull this off? And then, let me say, Fans wanted Bray Wyatt. Fans wanted to see what he can do. They wanted to see his vision. They wanted to see who was going to be Sister Abigail. They didn't think it was going to be him. If that makes sense. We saw the puppets with the Firefly Funhouse. We saw all of this stuff. The cinematic match with John Cena at WrestleMania because of the COVID thing. And it was very entertaining for the most part, honestly, because of the storytelling. But looking at that and looking at that match, I already knew it was like, Bray is a good storyteller. Oh, Lord. Bray is a good storyteller. But wrestling, like, is this catered to wrestling fans? Yes, the wrestling fans were singing and mocking and blaspheming the whole world in his hands with Bray. They were doing a whole bunch of stuff. Some of the stuff that he did with Cena was dope. You know, the Wyatts versus the Shield or the Wyatts versus the New Day was good, but he was more character and stuff. And WWE's, let alone Vince McMahon, I don't think knew what to do with the guy. Like, the guy didn't even have a lot of long championship reigns. He had decent stories and stuff with Daniel Bryan joining him and Randy joining him and stuff. Like, some things worked and then some things just didn't. And I think more things didn't work. So if they didn't know how to do much with Bray, how do we think that the Wyatt Six were going to fare any better, right? Because it was Bray's vision. We wanted to see the story and stuff. The 2K at the time, they had story stuff for packages and all of that. They had a promo like every week. Each member said how Bray was important. It was emotional. It was good. But then after all of that, I knew they wasn't going to be on TV every week, and they wasn't. Even when they won the tag titles, they wasn't on every week. Now, every champion isn't on every week, but just the character that it is. We are in a different time zone and time zone and limits. We're in a different era where social media is just everywhere, right? To add mystique to The Undertaker, there was no Facebook and all kind of stuff. We see pictures now, and some people have taken pictures like when he's walking and doing stuff, but still, it's a little different now. After the Wyatt Six debut, there was a picture of them at the Waffle House without their gear, taking pictures with people. We knew who they were because there was already speculation. That's just one thing. But the lore of the Wyatt Six, I don't want to say was tarnished, but it definitely was a little shaky because they had literally had Waffle House. Like, y'all literally just made it seem like y'all attacked all of these people, had bodies on top of bodies. Bodies. Y'all had all these bodies, and then y'all went to eat the body of a hog at Waffle House. Like, you know, this is why Vince did crack down on certain things. And my thing is this, even as fans, right? Sometimes just respect people's work. Like, try to enjoy the ride. You know, we don't like The Rock like that, like we used to, but still, you know, when he said, you know, sit back and enjoy the ride, this is what should have been done for Wyatt Six. Not, no, let's take pictures every time. You know, they just had like an attraction that was at Universal Studios for like Bray Wyatt, and they showed how emotional they were, especially Rowan, because how close it was to Bray and stuff. And it's like, you know, fast forward a few months later, and now they're all leaving, or they're all released from WWE. And like I said, I'm not big on people losing their jobs, even if they weren't doing on TV consistently and stuff like that. But still, I just don't think that they knew what they were doing with them and stuff like that. And I think the fans, we put our expectations a little bit too high in what WWE wants to do. And like I said, I don't know everything behind the scenes about why this happened and why that happened, but still, to me, it felt like they were punishing Bray more than anything, you know, especially with like Bray's personal life. When Bray's personal life started going through WWE and, you know, his ex-wife, and trying to look at documents from WWE, trying to find the infidelity that Bray, I think that was also other things too. It's like, I think it's just multiple factors, but the big thing is, I don't think they knew what to do with Bray. They didn't know what to do, and this comes from somebody that wasn't that big of a Bray fan. They didn't know what to do with Bray, so I just knew that they didn't know what they were going to do with the Wyatt Six. It's a faction. I don't think any of these guys was going to be title contenders, my main title. Maybe Dexter. Everybody has a lot of great things to say about Dexter and Nikki, and you know, a lot, like, I'm sure they're great people, but a lot of people have so much stuff to say about Dexter, and some people are saying, like, now, after sight, not even in hindsight, they felt like that's something that really kind of anchored Dexter more than helped him, because he could wrestle and he'd give his character, especially the guy that could draw pictures with the hatchet and stuff. Like, we seen him on NXT when he was getting married to Indy Hartwell and stuff like that. And, you know, Some people would have thought that and assumed that, being part of Bray Wyatt's legacy would have helped them. But the problem is, Bray Wyatt has a great legacy, but as far as standings and like story in WWE, it's questionable. To have the crowd just loving you, everything that you do, every creation, every iteration of yourself, and they just love it because they want to see you, that they know that you probably not going to have, WWE's not going to know what to do with you. That's great. For the crowd to still be with him despite going through trials and tribulations and stuff, and with him passing and being so sad, and WWE with tributes and giving and making shirts for him, that's all cool. But like when you sit and think about it, they didn't know what to really do much for Bray. So like I said, it seemed like I just remember the debut, and then fast forward almost 2 years later, and it's like, jeez, man. Like I said, like people would have thought they just would have elevated and stuff. And even when Bray coming back at Extreme Rules, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, I had chills when I seen it because it was a big thing. It was a big anticipation. People cracked the code of the rabbit and all of this other stuff. You had a different mask. You had a whole bunch of stuff going on, and then the feud with LA Knight and the Mountain Dew neon color stuff, and Bray having the glow in the dark black light paint and all of that, and LA Knight hitting him with the glow stick, kendo stick, and him not selling it, and then Uncle Howdy jumping off on that. Listen, I'll say this, and it is unfortunate that he passed. I think the best way Bray could have showed what he wanted to do was if he would have just had his own company or something, or his own production, or own something. Like, honestly, like, I'm not big on telling wrestlers or advising wrestlers or saying what wrestlers should have done as far as creating a company or a vision. But I do think that if Bray had it or wanted to, and if he would have made a wrestling company or something like that and had some investors and stuff like that, I think that would have helped. I think that he could have showed how he wanted to do it, because he's working for WWE. He's not working with the WWE, and that's two different things. And I think that maybe he could have had his own thing. And honestly, I think the fans would have followed him. I think the fans would have looked at what he wanted to do and stuff. Now, I don't know if the Wyatt Six are going to do that or whatever like that, but I do think that for the most part, some people are going to follow them if they're going to do this on the independent scene. Like I said, when Mercedes left WWE, the independents, they loved her for the most part. And, everybody has their own opinion about her now and assumptions now, like they've been doing when she was in WWE, but still, I think that if they wanted to do something on the independent, they could do something. But like I said, man, if Bray was here, I think the best thing would have been if he would have just ran the company and had it how he wanted to do it and stuff like that. Because like I said, you got to talk to WWE about, hey, could you do this, and can you do this and that? And hey, can I run with this and that? Like you gotta ask for certain things and stuff. And I do think they obviously asked him about certain things that he wanted to do and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Still, 1 second, y'all. Like I said, I don't mind you guys commenting and stuff, but what you comment is what gets you in trouble. Like, I'm not gonna sit here make a big deal. I'm just going to be a big action. And the Wrench Syndicate, they are not here because they're asleep, they got work, they got other stuff they have to do, but you will be handled accordingly, respectfully. What's going on? But still, I do think that it's just easy to assume. And like I said, most of this is not even assumption. I'm just like, look at the track record of Bray Wyatt's career at WWE. Like, the characters, people liked it. I know, like I said, I got homies that got tattoos of Bray, and some other people got tattoos of Bray and stuff like that. And they believed in Bray Wyatt because Bray Wyatt was definitely different at the time. And a lot of people was like, well, the Undertaker is going to pass the torch to Bray Wyatt because he's the new face of fear. It didn't happen, unfortunately. And like I said, I'm an Undertaker fan, so I do know that Undertaker is very, very protective about passing the torch and doing certain things. And some people felt a certain way about Undertaker not doing it. And I do remember, from what I seen, the last thing that was televised was when what was it, Raw? or something. Did he chokeslam LA Knight or something? And then he whispered something to Bray. Undertaker to this day is not telling everybody what he whispered to Bray, but then Bray with the injuries and all kind of stuff happened. Because like I said, like even before that, you know, Bray was saying whoever wins between Bobby and Brock, he's gonna go after them. And then the way Brock and Bobby ended, you kind of knew that Brock did not want to face Bray Wyatt. Like they was trying to do this stuff for years, and Brock was so adamant, allegedly, on not going against Bray Wyatt because he didn't want to. I mean, honestly, I don't think that would have been a good feud either. You want, like, people have to sell that they're worried and that they're scared and stuff like that. Brock is not going to do that. Cena is going to do that. Randy is going to do that. Braun Strowman did it. Seth did it. Brock is not going to do that. Brock is not going to show a face of fear. He's not going to. Like, even the stuff with Oba and stuff, like, he showed, okay, he's a formidable guy or whatever like that, but it wasn't like he backed down per se or he ran. I don't think that would have been good. So, like, even Brock, like it was horrible. He kicked Bobby in the nuts to get DQ'd. So that meant that Bobby won the match and he would go against Bray. It made it seem like it was a punishment for both guys, honestly. The way it was projected and stuff like that. You know, Bobby, like, beat up Uncle Howdy or whatever, but still, it definitely was something I didn't want to look forward to. Like I said, I'm not a big fan, but still, how they projected it. Like, I'm going to go after Brock or Bob, whoever wins. And it's just like, oh, God. That's how I felt. I was like, oh, no, please don't. No shade, but I'm just saying, if WWE didn't know what to do with them, I just knew that the Wyatt Six, besides championship stuff, some feel-good moments, some good matches. Some matches was decent, some matches were good and stuff like that. But still, I just knew, man. It's just, you know, like I said, I just knew, and like a lot of fans, like they dropped the ball and they fumbled and stuff like that. I'm like, well, shoot, if y'all feel like they fumbled Bray Wyatt, I knew that they was gonna fumble these guys too, and it's unfortunate. But let me know what else is another factor on why it didn't work. Could it have worked? How would you have done it? Let me know. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Chris Classic. Let's take it home.